Today in class we talked about transformations. There's four types of transformations. Translation, where a shape slides. Rotation, where it turns around a point. Reflection, where it's a mirror image or it's flipped across the X or Y axis. And then dilation, where a shape can enlarge or reduce in size. The homework today is going to focus on translations, a shape sliding, and reflections, where a shape is flipped across the X or Y axis. So I'm going to show you what we did in class, and then make sure you know how to do the first one on the reflection paper so that you'll be prepared for tomorrow.
So at the beginning of your homework, we went over the four types of transformations. We wrote these down, and then we wrote down a descriptive word that helps explain what the shape is doing on your page. So if you need to press pause and write down some words that describe these four types of transformations, feel free to do so. If you already have them on your paper from class, perfect. We did question number 5 in class together. So we graphed the first triangle. It has blue dots for the vertices. And then we applied the translation rule, which says, in your paper, you'll see it right here. It says add 3 to the X value, subtract 2 from the Y value. So right here, you'll notice I put the original coordinates, which were -5, 2, and then I said I'm going to add 3 to the X and subtract 2 from the Y value. When I did that, the new coordinates I came up with were -2, 0. So I plotted that point, -2, 0 should be right here. I applied the same rule again, but to my second vertices. It used to be Y in this location. So I took those coordinates, -4, 1. I added 3 to the X value. I subtracted 2 from the Y value. -4 plus 3 is -1. +1 minus 2 is -1. So then I graphed that. -1, -1 now is located right here. Then the third coordinate, which was letter Z, which originally we graphed at 0, +3. I took those coordinates in the bottom left-hand corner of your page, and I applied the rule. If the X value used to be 0 and I added 3, 0 plus 3 is now 3. Then 3 minus 2 is +1. So now I'm going to graph this entire ordered pair, 3, +1, and I end up at this location. Once you do that, you're going to connect those dots. If you connect them, you get your triangle right here in this location. So on question 6, you're going to apply the same rules from question 5. You're going to do the same thing. When you move down to questions 7, 8, 9, and 10, you are going to look at what does it say is happening in the rule. It says in green, I've underlined X minus 5. So if you think about it, when you're on the X-axis and you subtract 5, that means you're going to move to the left however many spaces. And this one says 5. -5 means go left 5 spaces. The translation rule also says for your Y value, you're going to add 4. So if you think about the Y-axis, it goes up and down. +4 means you should go up 4. So if you take that same thinking and apply it to question 8, the rule says add 9 to your X value. X can only go left or right. So +9 means you need to go right 9 spaces. Then the Y part of the translation rule says you're going to be subtracting 3. The Y values can only move up or down. So a negative number means down. And in this situation, it's going to be 3 down. Okay, so you guys need to apply those same rules to number 9 and 10 and write what is happening to the shape. Is it moving left or right? Is it moving up or down? Question number 1 on the reflection page. The first thing you need to do is graph the 3 vertices for triangle EFG. So if I graph these, the first point for letter E says -1, 2. If you want to graph -1, 2, that means go left 1 and up 2. Okay, for letter F, it says graph 2, 4. To do +2, +4, you should go to the right 2 spaces and then up 4 spaces. So if I do that, I should end up right here. For letter G, it says +2, -4. If you want to graph that, you should go 2 spaces to the right and then down 4. So you'll end up right there. I'm going to connect those 3 vertices to form the triangle. And those were labeled E, F, G. So now what we need to do is reflect this shape over the y-axis. And it's going to tell us that right here in the directions. Reflect the shape over the y-axis. So here is the y-axis. I want the shape to be flipped across this line. So whatever used to be on the left side over here, now it's going to move and it's going to be on the right side. So to do that, my shape is not going to move up or down at all. It's just going to move left and right. How do you get a shape to move left and right? The only way you do that is by changing the x values. So if point E used to be on the left side, but now I want to switch it so that it turns to the right side, I'm going to move it and it's going to be right there. Now, the coordinates for that are going to be 1 to the right and 2 up. So if I write that down, let's see what happens. 1 to the right and 2 up. Okay, +1, +2. If you take a look at what the coordinates used to be, they used to be -1, +2. Did the x value change at all? It was a -1. Now it's a +1. If you think about really what changed, the only thing is we changed the sign. So what happened to the x value? We changed the signs. What happened to the y value? The y value used to be +2, and in my new one, it's still +2. So did the y values change at all? They stayed the same. So now if you go ahead and write the coordinates for the other 2 vertices, F used to be +2, +4. So I am going to change my x value to be the exact opposite of what it used to be. If it used to be +2, now it's going to be -2. The y value, we're saying, stays the same. It used to be +4, so now it's going to stay +4. If I graph that dot, -2, +4, I'm going to go to the left 2 spaces. I'm going to go up 4 spaces. Once you go left 2 spaces and up 4 spaces, that one is complete. Now I'm going to write the coordinates for letter G. Letter G used to be +2, -4. So the first number, +2, is going to be changed to have the opposite sign. So it is going to be -2. Then the second part, -4, we said the y values are going to stay the same. So it's still going to be -4. So now I'm going to graph -2, -4. I'm going to go to the left 2 spaces and down 4 spaces and then graph that dot as well. once you connect these, you'll see the new triangle. And everything that used to be on the left side, which is this one dot, has now moved to the right side. Originally, these 2 points that were on the right side have now just moved to the left side. Okay? If your shape is reflecting across the y-axis, all your y values are going to stay the same. Your x values are going to be the ones that change. Okay, so now you guys are going to try number 2 and 3. It's also doing reflections, and it's going to tell you which axis it is going to reflect over. Whichever one it's reflecting over, those parts of the coordinate pairs stay the same, and the other ones change to be the opposite sign. I'll see you guys tomorrow.